Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Jets, and I'm here to talk about Week 9, where the Jets beat the Buffalo Bills 20-17. Sorry, what? Look, a lot of Jets fans thought we were going to get killed in this game. I did not think we were going to get killed, but I definitely thought we were going to lose. But I was being a very optimistic Jets fan. I'm like, hey guys, we might only lose by a single digit. That was my goal for the game. The moral victory for me was like, keep it within 10. And they messed around and actually won the game, which is wild. And the main thing that I want to say for this game, for the entirety of the Jets, and it's on all phases of the game, they didn't let it get away from them, and they so easily could have. The Jets, and honestly, with solid enough reason, could have gotten killed in this game and kind of been able to just go, yeah, well, what are you going to do? Like, the Bills look like such an unstoppable force this season. If the Jets go into this game and just get curb stomped by the Bills, I don't think a lot of Jets fans would have been mad. Like, if it would have been by 50, you probably get mad. But if you keep it within, like, couple of scores of Buffalo, you have some solid drives offensively, solid drives defensively here and there, I don't think many people would have been mad, because you go, yeah, what are you going to do? Sometimes you just genuinely get matched up against a team that is just unstoppably better than you. And that was my thought going into it. I was going to be hopeful that we could keep it within a score or two. The fact that we won is wild. And the Jets, opening kickoff, Braden Mann eats it, and all of a sudden, they start nearly at midfield. A bomb for like 40 yards or 50 yards from Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs on Sauce Gardner getting burnt like toast. Are you kidding? His first genuinely bad play of the season, by the way, it came in Week 9, which is awesome. He had a fantastic game, by the way, aside from this one play. But, you know, easily could have let it get away from us. And we didn't. We stop a play. It was like an incompletion, if I'm not mistaken, and then Josh Allen makes one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen, which means that's saying a lot because I watch the Jets every week, and just kind of tosses it like I do to my nephew, and just kind of right to Jordan Whitehead. And I can only imagine that Jordan Whitehead said, thanks. So the Jets offense gets the ball, and they do absolutely nothing. I think we had 3 yards on a 3 and out. We did nothing with the ball. But, again, didn't let it get away from us. We didn't let that completely stall us out. We would only have one real good drive in the first quarter, for the majority of the game, actually, but we kept trucking. We didn't let it get to our heads, and that's the big thing that I want to emphasize. This is such a towering opponent that you faced. You could have let it got to you, and you just didn't, and I'm very, very proud of this team for that. So, Buffalo gets on the board first. 7-0. They score the touchdown. Josh Allen, just a one-man wrecking crew in the first while of this game. But to end the first quarter, the Jets kick a 51-yard field goal, or 53, from Greg Zuerlein. Greg the Leg still got it. And the Jets are only down by 4 after the first quarter. Then you go into the second quarter, and, they score a touchdown, which is not wonderful towards the end of it, and it's 14-3. Again, Jets doesn't get away from us. Long, nice drive, 13 plays, 75 yards, caps it with a nice 6-yard run by Michael Carter, and you have a chance to bookend it because you're going to get the ball to start the third quarter, and you end the first quarter. How many times has Belichick done that against us? We should know that by heart by now. So the Jets, with this super long incremental drive, it takes 8 minutes off the clock, and you're just feeling it. If you're the Jets right there, you get well into their territory, it's the long incremental drives that we're so used to watching happen against us that we just look hapless to stop, but it's the Jets doing it. It's like the Twilight Zone. And then Zach Wilson fumbles the ball, and it was painful to watch, and I will say, this was the only bad play that he had this game. Zach Wilson did a lot this game that gives me hope for the next few, and I'll talk about that in due time, but Zach Wilson, this was the only egregious play he made, and even that fumble, it's on him for not getting the ball out. It's on him because he did fumble the ball, but that's not the same as a bad pick. Hey, speaking of bad pick, we call that a segue in the business. Josh Allen throws a bad pick, and into the waiting arms of one Sauce Gardner. By God, he's a good player, huh? Sauce Gardner, utterly fantastic. His second career interception, and yeah, it would have been nice if we could have just kept trucking and not had to turn the ball over, but hey, give Sauce a pick, and no harm, no foul. Nothing really happens. And a couple plays later, the Jets punch it in to score. And all of a sudden, The Jets have a lead in this game. Like, it was just a nice little pass, Zach Wilson to James Robinson. And, like, by God, it's 17-14. And we have the lead. Buffalo's next drive would tie it at 17 apiece, and then Jets would have a drive, 3 plays and out, punt. Buffalo would have a few more than that, but they'd have to punt. The Jets, long, incremental drive, and they just did it masterfully. These long runs by Carter, by Robinson, to eat their way into Buffalo territory, and they make them use all 3 of their timeouts. It would have been nice to have gotten the touchdown, but they make them use all 3 timeouts. They kick the field goal, and it is 20-17 in favor of the Jets. So Buffalo's going to have like a minute and a half to score. And you would have felt a lot better if it would have been needing to score a touchdown than a field goal, but you'll take it. And it sounds dumb, but I felt like we were on house and money at this point. We were not supposed to be winning this game. We just weren't. The fact that we kept it competitive was nice. And now you're on the verge of winning it, and then the final drive from Buffalo is just a disaster. You start with a holding call on Buffalo that backs it up from a 1st and 10 to a 1st and 20, so that's already not good. Then there's an 18-yard pass to Gabe Davis from Josh Allen, but he just weaves and keeps staying in bounds, killing time, and that's not wonderful. You would have liked him to maybe have taken 10 yards and gotten out of bounds, but he kept weaving, he kept working. The Jets were in no hurry to put him down, which again, good. Previous Jets teams would have just tackled him because instincts. But no, we can fight our instincts and not do stupid things. Then next play, massive play here, Bryce Huff. Oh, Bryce Huff is so good. Put him on almost... Bryce Huff needs so many more snaps, guys. He's genuinely fantastic. Strips Josh Allen. I keep saying Zach Allen. Josh Allen. It's not Zach Allen. It's Josh Allen. I'm going to get it. I swear. But strips him. Buffalo recovers, but they can't progress the ball. And all of a sudden, it's 3rd and 21. They go for a no huddle. There's a deep pass incomplete to Stephon Diggs. And all of a sudden, it's 4th and 21. And the Jets are 1 play shorter than 20 yards away from winning the game. And even if it's more than that, depending on where it is in the field, you might still be able to win it. But then Buffalo makes a tactical error because they throw a deep ball. Josh Allen looking for Gabe Davis, and he's covered by one of the most elite corners in the sport of football. And I'm just so happy to tell you that he's on our team! Now, a lot of Buffalo fans are upset about this play because where is the pass interference on the play there? Sauce Gardner is draped all over him. There has got to be a call there. And I would say, 1, 2, probably should have been pass interference on Sauce Gardner there, for all being honest with each other. I've said this before when talking about Sauce Gardner, and I will emphasize it again because it's just so true. The truly great corners know the line. They know what you can get away with and what you can't, and they tread that line like their life depends on it. This wasn't egregious. I thought it could have been. I really did. I thought it could have been pass interference. But it was on the line. It wasn't egregious. And I think that's a play where you just tip your cap to Sauce Gardner for knowing the limit. And I would also like to throw this out there to the Buffalo fans that are maybe upset about the no call on pass interference. Guys, it was us. It was the Jets. You should have killed us. Like, yeah, that maybe should have been this shouldn't have been a contest. This should have been you wiping your feet like we were a doormat. The fact that we were able to keep it competitive was shocking. The fact that we won is just it's insane. So offensively, I already briefly touched on it, but the run game looked really good today. It didn't look wonderful last week. Obviously, it's the first week where you're putting a new piece in, so it kind of makes sense. But this week, James Robinson looked good. He had a couple of nice plays, including the touchdown reception from Wilson. And Michael Carter was amazing. Like 73 yards, had a touchdown rush. Michael Carter played fantastic. Garrett Wilson had a great game offensively. He was always open, picking up big chunks of yardage, almost a 100-yard day for him. Jets looked great offensively. Like, we had nice long drives. We were moving the ball well. And I'll talk about Zach Wilson in a moment, but I want to end on that note, so we'll go to the defense. The defensive line was great. They look great. They put pressure on nearly every play. They're always getting after the quarterback. They're making them move. That's what we've begged to see. Jermaine Johnson had a sack. Quinnen Williams had a sack. I think Sheldon Rankins had a sack. Bryce Huff had the strip fumble. We looked fantastic. The D-line is full of animals. And I'm so happy to say that. Jordan Whitehead, solid game, had a pick, almost had two. DJ Reed had a really nice play to break up a pass. Sauce Gardner had a pick and the game-winning pass breakup. Again, say what you will. Cry, guys. Sauce Gardner, I will say this, and I've said it already, but I have to keep saying it because it's just like one of those pinch yourself, it's not real moments. Sauce Gardner might not be the defensive rookie of the year. He might just be the defensive player of the year. Dead serious. He is amazing. He is as good a corner as I see in the NFL right now. And I watched Revis. I watched it. I still am being honest with you guys. This might be the best cornerback play I've ever seen in the time I've watched the Jets. And I kind of made a loophole the last time I said this because I said I didn't see and remember vividly 2009 Revis. Right? I watched it, but I don't remember it vividly. I remember a little bit. I remember everyone talking about how good he was. I can remember with almost exact detail every play that Revis made in 2015 because that was the year I fell back in love with football and really the year I fell back in love with sports in general. But even remembering the bits that I do of 2009, guys, Sauce Gardner might be better. And he's a rookie! He is a star in this league, and he is a rookie. What a gutsy pick by Joe Douglas. Like, caps off to him. And also, before I get on to the Zach Wilson thing, the other thing I want to talk about, I said it already, but coaching to not let the players get rattled immediately after they very well could have, after awful kickoff, awful, massive chunk play. Caps off to Robert Saleh. He was asked in the presser afterwards, they said, do you think the gap in the AFC East has closed? And he said, what do you think? And, talk your shit, Robert Saleh. Wow, he's turned this team around, and it's just, watching Jets football is fun, guys. It's fun. Like, I'm actually kind of sad there's a bye week next week because I'm like, oh, shucks, I'd like to watch the Jets. Like, can you believe that? We're saying we'd like to watch the Jets, not like, oh, thank God, it's a bye week. I get to enjoy a day. And the final thing that I want to talk about is Zach Wilson because after last week, that was just a gut-wrenching game by Zach Wilson where he played awful, below 50% completion percentage, threw for like 3 picks. Only good plays were basically in garbage time. He played awful. He looked awful. This week, he looked a lot better. Only 154 yards passing, which isn't great. Had a couple of nice run plays, threw a touchdown, threw some nice completions, made the mistake on the fumble. And I'm going to be honest with that. That was a bad play on the fumble. You'd love to see him not do that. But you could tell watching Zach Wilson, he desperately wants to be better. And that's a very good thing because a lot of young players who kind of have that swagger just think it'll come naturally. Zach Wilson, seemingly, and it's only been one game, but seemingly understands that he made mistakes and that he has to clean it up. You watched him today, and it kind of looked like a video game that was glitching out a little bit. Like, you'd see him start to want to make a mistake and then catch himself. And it looked kind of unnatural in real time. But watching it again, it seems like he would get ready to do it, realize it was the mistake, and then make the right play. And it looked a little awkward at times. But the best thing I can tell you is that tells me he knows he's making mistakes, and he is now identifying the mistakes. And it looks very unnatural. He is making unnatural corrections to those mistakes. And that isn't great. But he's making them, which means they are learnable. They are fixable mistakes for Zach Wilson. And once he implements that, and the corrections are no longer unnatural and just a natural part of his game, where he'll go through his progressions and then not even thinking about it, hit his check down, hit the easy target, we might not have to worry about it. I really think he could fix it. And he gets this momentum beating Buffalo, the toast of the AFC, going into the bye week. Are you kidding me? And then he's going to get a chance to have revenge in Foxborough and do that for the first time since, 2011? And that wasn't even technically a real game. That was the postseason. When was the last time we won a regular season game in Foxborough? He has a real opportunity here to take the momentum from this game, from fixing the mistakes, and the heat that he has from getting embarrassed by the Patriots, and potentially have a amazing back half of the season. And I'm pretty darn excited to see if he fixes it. So that's it. The Jets get a really big win. One of the biggest upsets in recent memory for the Jets. and we go into the bye week 6-3. How good does that feel? How good does that feel, Jets fans? We're 6-3. Buffalo, if they biff it next week, we could be tied. And I think if Buffalo biffs it next week, we'd have the lead. Because we'd have the tiebreaker over Buffalo and Miami. Like, we could be leading the AFC. We could be leading the East next week. And we don't even play. We could lead the East next week if Buffalo messes up. Oh, how exciting is that? Great game for the Jets. Caps off to them on every front of the ball. But that's it. The Jets, I'm astonished. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. So not next Sunday, the returning Sunday. We'll be in Foxborough. I believe the game is at 1 o'clock. I'll be here afterwards for that. I'll be here with some Rangers games here and there. I want to do some Astro stuff between now and then. But that's it for this video. So if you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. And as always, go Jets.